The AI Act adopts a risk-based approach, classifying AI systems into different levels that determine the applicable regulatory obligations. The regulation identifies 5 levels of risk, which we can graphically represent as a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid are AI systems that pose an unacceptable risk. Such systems violate the fundamental union principles and are therefore considered a threat to both fundamental rights and security. Such systems are explicitly prohibited under Article 5 of the AI Act. At the second level, we find the high-risk systems. Such systems may pose significant risks to health, security, and human rights. They need to comply with rigorous prerequisites before they are placed on the market and during their use. Moving further down the risk scale, we find limited risk systems, which pose specific risks related to transparency. As such, these systems are only subject to limited transparency obligations. At the base of the pyramid, we finally find minimal risk systems. These are AI systems that pose limited or no risks. Such systems are exempt from specific obligations. However, providers can voluntarily adhere to specific codes of conduct. In addition to this, the regulation also considers a systemic risk, in particular with reference to powerful general-purpose AI models, which may produce relevant risks for overall society. Such a classification mirrors the proportional approach of the legislative framework. Higher the risk, harsher the obligations. For example, a simple spam filter is considered to be at minimum risk level, while an automated hiring system is considered to be at high risk level. Article 5 of the AI Act explicitly prohibits certain AI practices that are incompatible with the fundamental rights and principles of the EU. 1. Systems that manipulate or deceive people by using subliminal, manipulative or deceitful techniques to materially distort their behavior, potentially or actually causing significant damage. 2. Systems that exploit any weakness related to age, disability, or specific socioeconomic situation, causing behavioral alterations that result in significant damage. 3. Social scoring systems, i.e., those systems that evaluate people based on their social behavior or personal characteristics, resulting in prejudicial treatment that is unrelated to the context or disproportionate to the actual severity of the situation. 4. Systems that evaluate or predict the probability of someone committing a certain crime, based exclusively on their profile or the sole evaluation of their personality. 5. Systems that create or expand facial recognition databases via the untargeted scraping of images from the internet or CCTV cameras. 6. Emotion recognition systems used to infer emotions in the workplace or educational institutions, except for medical or safety reasons. 7. Systems that categorize individuals based on their biometric data to deduce sensitive information such as race, political or religious belief, and sexual orientation. 8. The real-time remote biometric identification in public spaces. Systems for the simultaneous remote identification of individuals in public spaces for preventive purposes, with the limited exception for specific situations such as searching for crime victims or preventing terrorist threats. The AI Act identifies 3 criteria for classifying a system as high risk. The first criterion comprises AI systems that satisfy both the following conditions. The AI system is intended to be used as a safety component of a product, or the AI system is itself a product covered by the Union harmonization legislation listed in Annex 1 of the European regulation, and the product whose safety component is the AI system or the AI system itself as a product is required to undergo to a third-party conformity assessment with a view to placing on the market or putting into service of that product pursuant to the Union harmonization legislation listed in the Annex 1 of the European regulation. Among these, for example, might be counted personal protective equipment as well as medical equipment. The second criterion concerns the AI systems included in Annex 3 of the regulation, when their use could pose a significant risk to the health, safety and fundamental rights of natural persons, including in the sense of materially influencing the outcome of the decision-making process. The annex includes the following areas: biometrics, critical infrastructure, education and vocational training, employment, workers management and access to self-employment, access to and enjoyment of essential private services and essential public services and benefits, law enforcement, migration, asylum and border control management, administration of justice and democratic processes. According to the provision contained in the regulation, the system does not present a high risk, even though it is used in this sector, if it is intended to perform a limited procedural task, or if it is intended solely to improve the result of a human activity previously completed, without being intended to replace or influence human judgment. Therefore, the classification of an AI system as high risk will necessarily involve a case-by-case assessment of the purpose of the system's use, its autonomy, and its ability to influence human decision-making. Finally, the third criterion implies that an AI system referred to in Annex 3 is always considered high risk if it carries out profiling of natural persons. Limited risk AI systems, regulated by Article 50 of the AI Act, are subject to specific transparency obligations, which, although less stringent than the requirements for high-risk systems, aim to ensure that people are adequately informed when interacting with such systems. These obligations apply to 4 different categories of systems. Systems intended to interact directly with the natural person. In this case, providers must ensure that people are informed of their interaction with an AI system, unless this is obvious from the circumstances. These requirements does not apply to AI systems used for authorized law enforcement activities. Systems that generate synthetic content. In this case, providers of systems that generate audio, image, video, or text content must ensure that such outputs are clearly identifiable as artificial. The technical solution adopted must be effective, interoperable, and robust. Emotion recognition system or biometric categorization systems. In this case, deployers must inform individuals exposed to such systems about how they work. systems that generate deepfakes. In this last case, the deployer of system that generates or manipulates images, audios, or videos that appear authentic must disclose that the content has been artificially generated or manipulated. For example, a chatbot must inform the user that they are talking to an AI and not a human being. An image generated with DALL-E must be labeled as synthetic content. A company using a biometric customer categorization system must inform customers of this. These transparency requirements are essential to maintain trust in AI and enabling people to make informed decisions when interacting with AI systems. Finally, the legislation considers AI models for general purposes that are particularly powerful and could pose significant risks to society as a whole, as systems posing a systemic risk. A general-purpose AI model can be classified as with systemic risk if it satisfies at least one of the following conditions. First, it has high-impact capabilities evaluated on the basis of appropriate technical tools and methodologies, including indicators and benchmarks. Second, based on a decision of the Commission, either on its own initiative or following a qualified referral from the scientific expert group, it presents a high level of capability or impact, taking into account certain criteria set out in Annex 12 of the regulation. Furthermore, the AI Act states that a general-purpose AI model is presumed to have high impact potential and therefore falls within the scope of systemically risk models when the cumulative amount of computation used for its training, measured in floating point operations, exceed 10 to the power of 25.